I've been to many schools of architecture all over Tamil Nadu and some parts of India, but I've not seen a campus where it's a pure architecture building. Like you have with ZEPT, designed by an architect, and the whole infrastructure is aimed to propagate good architecture. So you're all fortunate to study in an institute where the importance is given to architecture alone. There are many institutes where architecture is combined with engineering or with other allied fields. But here you learn architecture in the purest of pure environment. So you are all fortunate. So let me begin my presentation for about 45 minutes. This will be for 45 minutes. And after that, you can ask any questions that you want to ask. Before moving on to the presentation, I would like to share few things about my personal life. I'm from a very small town called Erode. It's a small town and studied in a government school. And I got admission in School of Architecture, Chennai. And when I moved over there from a rural background, everything was in English and strange. So I had great difficulty in getting into the core of architecture. And since I'm from a low middle income family, even to buy books was a real challenge. But somehow I was able to overcome that with sheer hard work and got the best student of architecture award for my five-year performance, and then went to Canada. Then I came back. Since I'm from a middle income family, I had to borrow a huge sum of money to go to Canada. So when I came back and I had this huge loan, education loan, which I borrowed. So to solve the family problem, my financial problem, I thought I will work on larger projects. So my career is divided into two parts. The first part is working on large institutional projects or hospitals, institutional transportation centers like that. And the later part is the part which I really cherish the most, which I'm going to share with you. So the first part is aiming to solve my financial and family commitments. So this is some of the pictures that you are seeing are part of that larger practice. The larger practice, I was involved in the design of metro stations, Coimbatore bus stand project, and many of the hospitals, 26 hospitals I did in the first phase, which was spanning for a period of 10 years. After that, when I paid back all the loan, when I solved all my family problems, I thought, what I am doing, is it what I wanted to do with my life? So I decided to close my commercial practice, which had about 30 people. And then I asked the permission of my wife, can I close down my commercial practice? He said, it's fine. As long as you are not taking my salary, it's fine. You can close the commercial office. I closed the commercial office and then started a one-person architectural practice. And initially it was very, very kind of discouraging. Not many projects were coming. But then I thought, now everything is settled. I have a home. I have a small office. Why not I patiently wait and do what is best? So I was at crossroads. I didn't know where to go. Then there was a project. It was 40 by 60, the small site. After doing, imagine doing Coimbatore bus stand for 32 acres and the metro stations. And my first project was a small 40 by 60 project, 40 by 60 is site. And that too, there was a tree growing next to my building. And the client was keen to cut the tree. So I requested such a beautiful tree. It gives a flower. It's called Panni Pushpam, Koil Pushpam. So this flower is a white in color and with a beautiful fragrance. I begged the client not to cut, and he was asking, what are you going to do with the tree? I said, we will see, sir. We will try to incorporate as a part of the house. So in the plan, you can see it was part of the living room. It was growing inside the living room, and in the first floor, it was coming to the master bedroom. During the construction, I requested the client to leave a cutout in the ground floor living room roof, and the client was kind enough. He allowed us to have the tree. The tree began to become part of the house, and we built series of courtyards in every floor. And now you see, so the house is built, people are living, and the tree is in the part of the living room. And every room in that house, since the tree was there, we had to go for a tall roof. So to accommodate the tree, it was about 20 feet high. And many of the rooms eventually became tall rooms since the ground floor roof was 20 feet. So we went for a attic kind of planning. And after completion, this became a small landmark in Chennai. So the Hindu newspaper used to arrange trips. So some of the architects, leading architects, are also in the picture, and general public also used to visit. So the green becomes part of the house. So the architecture is not just a building; it is also creating wonder. So Daniel Lepskin, yeah. Now these are some of the inner port. So when we were doing this house, this was my first house after the commercial practice. So we wanted to reuse many of the material. The client was a contractor, so he had a lot of farm material wasted. So we used that for handrail, and even the sections, I sections were reused from his building construction site. And I also felt we should use many of our local materials. The compound wall, if you see, or the inner areas, if you notice, we were using our local building materials from nearby Coimbatore and all that, not using Italian marble and things like that. So when this was completed, design detail, there's a new magazine. They wanted to publish my work also, along with the great architects, Sanjay Mohi, Charles Correa, and others. Along with them, my small work was also published in the same magazine, so which gave me tremendous confidence. So if somebody wants to do simple but elegant works with good sensibility, there is a scope. So we don't have to compromise. So by involving in a very line-based, site-based approach, one's practice can also begin to grow. These are some of the pictures inside. Yeah. Then we got another small project, which was 1,400 square feet. This is the thing. So one of the day, a woman walked into my office, and she was carrying. Okay, she was, but the minute she came to my cabin, she was in a very pleading manner. She was asking, "Will you do a house for me?" I said, "Why not? We are there to do the house." But she said, "It's a very small property, sir. It is only 1,400 square. Will you be interested?" I said, "Nothing to worry. You come and sit. First, have a seat." She came, sat, and then I asked her, "Why you are in a hurry to build?" She said, "My husband is working abroad, so he's here now. You will be leaving shortly in a month's time. So I want to finish the delivery, as well as I want to make the plan ready, so that in his absence I will construct." But then the site was too small, and they were borrowing heavily from a bank to purchase the land and also to build. So what we did is, instead of, and the government says 5 feet rule all around. In a 1,400 square feet site, if you leave 5 feet all around, you have hardly 700 square feet. But then we thought this 5 feet setback, why not we make a beautiful garden out of it? So the IT people are generally very stressful. So we said, when they come back from work, they should feel like walking along the path, across a path, and then going into the house rather than entering the house directly. So we created a circuitous road from the car park area to the entry of the house. And we felt the whole house can be built with organic material. So you can see the outside, the whole compound wall is made of green. And we went for a gabion walls. The gabion wall is a wall in which you can create a mesh of metal mesh and put a pebble or even stone jellies or whatever rubbish that you have. And then we put the creepers over it. So it gives a good ambience. This is the entry. As soon as you enter, you don't see anything. You don't see anything. You see a small park kind of an ambience, and then you walk across, finally reach the entrance door. And once you enter, this is like a very protected womb of a mom. So you don't have to worry about what is happening outside. The whole world comes inside, and we have removed the grills from the windows, pushed it to the boundary. So every safety thing is done at the boundary level. So Pogola protects the people. So you don't have to, the entire side setback, that 5 feet, becomes part of your house. These are some of the inner spaces. And the roofs also, we didn't want to plaster. So most of the thing we left it as it is. So the exposed brick walls, the stone walls, and the roofs are also like that. And the flooring also cement floor. Now this is the present state of the house. So these are some of the material palette. The upper one is the gabion wall we were talking about. So gabion is a metal mesh, and then yeah, I will show some more of that. Yeah. So these are the bamboo used, exposed brickwork used, exposed concrete was also used. So the whole house is very minimalistic, and they have one elderly mother living and the daughter living. So you can see the daughter, when I visited after the completion, she was thanking me with the beautiful drawings on the compound wall. So this is during her birthday. I was also there. So the house becomes a beautiful, it's very, very small, but then it has become a beautiful place for the small family. And this was sent to our national for some award. So it was selected as one of the top 20 houses in India using natural materials and stuff like that. So while working on these projects, I felt our education is more towards Western kind of a thing. And we have totally forgotten about our traditions. So when I started my practice again, I said, why not I revive whatever our traditional elements that we had. So thin ice, so which is a multi-function space, so which is used for so many ways. I'm going to quickly go through. I have a lot of slides. So why not revive Thinnai? Why not bring the courtyards? Bring back the courtyards. Maybe courtyards with greenery. And again, one more interesting aspect which we are trying to do in the last 15, 20 years is you look at some of the pictures wherein the mom is in the kitchen and the granny is also there, and everybody goes to the kitchen and they are sharing and chatting. This is how we were living. Now the kitchen has become like a 8 feet by 10 feet, a small dabba, so where nobody can go. So the earlier living really made people come together. The present day living is making people move away from each other. So we wanted to somehow bridge the gap so that the 3 generations of people can comfortably live together. So some of the earlier kitchens, some of the workspaces, I don't know who killed those spaces, and is it architects who killed it, or is it engineers who made this? But Masons never did that. Only after the innovation of this cement, in the year 1940, 50, the cement factories came to India. We started removing our traditional tile roof. So the courtyards begin to vanish because the engineers came into picture. They were not appreciating the courtyards, whereas the masons were appreciating, masons were appreciating. But then masons did not have the knowledge of cement. They didn't have structural knowledge of using concrete foundations. So the construction industry heavily started to rely on engineers. So engineers started with these boxes, and then architects are also to some extent are continuing the same engineering traditions, or architects are following the Western norms. There's nothing wrong in following many of the Western ways of living, but I think Indian ways also can be combined together to form a good balance. So our current practice looks at bringing back the past with the present. The present lifestyles are different, but there are some of the past elements can be always brought in. And similarly, the connect between nature and the man is also beginning to fade away. we thought, why not we make an effort to bring it back? So this is a house for Mr. Mubarak Ali in Chennai. So there was a two neem trees in the house, one in the front and one in the back. Mr. Mubarak Ali has got a lot of respect for trees, and he said neem is such a special medicinal tree, we should never cut it. So this gave us a wonderful opportunity to have the tree in the entry itself and form a small kund kind of a space. Yes, Charles Correa would call it a kund, the seat around the tree. So when a young person comes from college or school or to home, he is not able to allow, he or she is not able to bring their friends, because the minute there is a veranda in the present day house, after opening the door, main door, there is a living room. There is no space for the younger generation. So my concern is somehow bring the spaces for younger generation so they can bring their friends home instead of meeting them in some restaurant or in the mall. When they have such a home, good home, why not bring their friends? So throw the car away. Cars are like bullock carts. So our elders never had the cars in the front side. I mean, never had the bullock carts in the front side. They always had the bullock carts in the side of the house. Whereas we take pride in the material thing of car and glorify it, give a big portico, and then park the car and display it for the public. So any relative, whoever is coming, the first thing which welcomes them is the parking car. So it shows I have become rich, you are not rich. So there is a, first handshake itself is not a good handshake. It's not a very welcoming one. It is trying to show off. So in this house, we removed the car, put the car in the side so that nobody need to see the car. And then the tree, the neem tree becomes the focal element, and around which the whole house revolves. So we allowed the tree to grow through the house, giving a lot of setback. So some of the balconies really go through the tree, And in order to complement the tree, we went for exposed concrete. So the whole building was done with, front facade was done with exposed concrete and metal decking, because since we didn't want to cut many of the branches, so we on site we worked on the steel structure so that we can find where we have the space in between the branches of the tree where we could have the balconies. So then again, we wanted to be working close with the natural material. This is small house in Tanjore for a professor. He's a college professor. In this, the only request he had is he had an elderly mother and father died. So the son who studied in IIT and was about to go to Germany, Dr. Adlison, with his wife. Mom, she was not happy. She was crying all the time the minute she heard the news that he is going. And he came back home and asked his mom what she wants. Son, I'm going to be here for some more time, only 10 or 15 years. Why are you leaving me? Why not we live in Tanjore in our own small place itself? So Dr. Adlison decided to live in Tanjore. And the request he had to me is somehow your planning should take care of my mom. My everything revolves around my mother. So give a proper placing. So what we did is right in the entry itself, we provided the mother's room so that she gets to see the grandsons when they come from school, and when the relatives come, she is able to see them till the time death. She will be able to participate in all the activities of the house. Generally, old people rooms are given at the end of the house in a small dingy room. So this year we wanted to celebrate her life by giving it right in the entry. The number 10 is her house. So she will be the first person to receive any guest. She will be the first person to open the door for the grandsons, and she knows everything about it. She is not disconnected from the house. So now you can see from a room, you can see the whole house. And since they were not very, they were also not wanting to have sofas and stuff like that. So we went for cement furniture, which will be used for seating as well as sleeping, and also children playing. All that is possible. So this graphic shows how her mom can see from a room the road, the vendor, and other parts also, like a ship captain. So for an elderly mother who doesn't have any other work other than just, being with the children and taking care of the house. So this is a kind of a heaven. So she can see the garden, she can see every activity of the street. So the house is very much raised. Since there is a road nearby, we didn't want a passerby to look into the house. So these are some of the inner portions of the house. So every room is got a small garden. Every room between the compound wall and our building, there is a setback. The greenery has not grown when the photograph was taken. So we used Arthagudi tiles for the flooring. Arthagudi tiles for the flooring. And you can see the seater being put into different activities. One is granddad sleeping and the children sliding and playing. And this can accommodate a lot more people. So than your sofas, the 2-seater, 3-seater sofas. So a lot of cross ventilation is achieved. Yeah, this is an isometric view to show different types of material which are used. You've used cam jalis, a lot of courtyards within the house. And we also reused some of the tiles because the Tanjore is a traditional town. A lot of tiles were, broken, 100-year-old, 200-year-old. So we bought them and then used this as a compound wall, which will breathe. So, and we also have small niches for the lamps, oil lamps. So during the functions, you can keep like the way you have it in Kerala. The inspiration is Kerala temple architecture. So now you can see in the compound wall, the lower portion is the random rubble wall, and above that is your recycled tile with the triangular openings for the oil lamps. So the facade is a combination of exposed brickwork and exposed concrete work. Now you can clearly see that oil lamps during festivals like Diwali and stuff like that. Yeah. Inner portions. They wanted it to be very rusty. They wanted it to be as natural as possible. So we didn't paint many of the cemented surfaces. Then comes the other house. It's called Millennial House. This for two young students. They were at the time students in a small property, 40 by 60, 40 by 65. It is in Chennai. And here also we wanted to learn from the traditions. So in traditional house, you have on the left is your traditional house typology. On the right is what we learned from the traditional house. Traditional house, you'll have a thin eye where people can sit and watch the street. And traditional house will have series of courtyards. So we also thought some learnings can be taken from there. So some inner plans, I'm not going to go into the details. Yeah, so this has got a 3 generation. That is my client's name is Mr. Ramesh. He's about 50 and the 2 sons are about 18 at that point of time. Now they are 23. And Ramesh Sar's father and mother, so 76 years and 70 years old. So they all wanted to live in the same space. We have a habit of having a chat session with the client for at least 5 to 6 hours every time when we meet. So with this client, we would have done nearly 30 hours before we started the drawing process. So when you do have a long chat sessions, you become really, really close to them and they begin to see the good side of you. In this case, when I asked the twin sons, how many friends do they have? And each of them said 20 friends. I was really surprised. And 40 friends coming home is a big challenge. And I never had a situation like that. And I asked the parents, should we entertain them or what is the thing? They said they seem to be very good friends and let them come and let them have a special place for them. So now I'll just show. This is the kund that we created in the front of it. It's in the above the portico. So the young boys can see which friend is coming and then call them. So they don't have to go inside the house. They can come, climb the staircase, come to the front side where they can chat, and these small slit holes that you are seeing is overlooks onto the road, onto the portico front area. So they can invite them when somebody is coming, the bike is parked, they know the friend has come. So this becomes the youth joint. And inside the house, we created series of courtyards, allowing a lot of sunlight to come in. Since this is near a seaside area, so we also wanted the sea breeze to come. So you see the angular brown color louvers, so which allows a lot of cool air. And seaters built in the traditional fashion. And the house being used presently, the right side is the two sons, and then left side is the cousins and relatives, father, mother. And the grandma comes and uses the house very regularly. She stays with them. So different parts of the house where the three generations are really coming together and sharing the spaces. Now this is the next project. This is Sudhakar Residence, again in Chennai. They are IT couple, but they are also staying with their elderly parents. So the elderly parents are staying in the lower floor, that's in the entry floor, and the younger couple are staying in the upper floor. This is the upper floor picture. And they wanted it to be a very casual kind of a house. They didn't want it to be a put on or a show off kind of a one. So where again a bamboo, reinforced bamboo pergolas were used, and lots of brick walls. Brick also used as a sculptural element. And inside also every double light space, you have this hammock kind of a space where people can rest comfortably. The children can also play and look at the mom who is cooking below. And every space revolves around the courtyards and a multi-level house. And the steps are also being used as a seater. Again, the kitchen is no longer the closed kitchen. The kitchen is becoming a part of a garden, and anybody can go chat with mom. Mom can also see the entire house from here. And every space, the steps again become like a seater. The center is the skylight area with a water body, and the right is a puja room. The puja, the water goes below the puja. There's a glass floor with the fish below, koi fish. And even the bedrooms have spaces for working. This is an IT guy, so he will take calls continuously. So without disturbing the family, on the right side, you can see a small chair and a table where that water also from the central pond comes below him. So he can put his feet in the water while talking, because it's very stressful. He said it goes for 3 to 4 hours, some of the calls. So he wanted to unwind. And he can also take the phone and walk in the pebble court. So like the Chinese method. So you walk in the pebble and it's good for your foot. And as I was saying, the seat is becoming like long benches. So they don't have much of furniture except 1 or 2 sofa and other bean bags. Rest of it are the stairs. And in the same floor, you have a space to chill out. Every Friday night, Saturday night, the friends, families, they come. They wanted it like a rural setting. The first floor, you have a terrace like this. And in the lower floor where the elderly parents are living, and it can be used as a parking as well as plaything for the children with a lot of seaters around. So the entry step itself is like a welcoming one with the cascading water on the left hand side. So this is the facade of it. There is another house called Balakrishna Residence. It is in a small town. The client is a nature lover. So again here the car is not parked in the front. So the entry is given to the greenery. Yeah, the car is not seen in the front. And we always felt the teen requires a space. So as soon as they enter, the first space is the teen area. There is no living room, formal living room or anything like that, because the children are the future of the home. So beautiful informal courts are for the children to hang out with their friends, or calling and all that. So on the rear side also, the women folk, they want to play shuttle in the evenings, all that. So full safety is given the pergola. So the whole of house is secured because the husband works abroad. internal areas with a court and seating all around. And the left side, you have the puja, again with seater for the mother to rest and chat with her elderly friends. Some inner portions. Yeah. The courts with seating. And we always feel the washrooms are one of the important areas. So where the sunlight can be there, some plants also can be there. So that's where you personally unwind yourself. There's another house at E Road, Panniselvam Residence. Again, here the neighbor, the houses were closely, the side plan on the left source, tightly packed neighbors who were almost closer to the compound wall. So what we felt was, why not we convert the constraint into some opportunity? So we created tall boundary walls so that we have a separate enclosure, which I will show it in the inside. And again, Jeffrey Bava, who is a master of courtyards, in his own house, he has got about nearly 50 courtyards. So which triggered some thought in us, why not we also attempt? So every little pocket, whatever you have in the house is a court. So series of courts, axonometry. Yeah, once you enter, you don't see the cars. You walk through a water body, lily pond, and reach the sit-out area. Yeah, sit-out area. And everywhere, since the focus is on the gardens, so a lot of decks were there. Every room opens out onto the decks. And inside, again, small water body, courts, murals. And on the right upper side, you can see every bedroom without a grill because the compound wall itself acts as a tall wall with the pergola on top. So you can see the left top is the dining court, which again has got a green wall. The whole site is covered with green wall all around. Now you can see the side of the green wall. But then for safety, the pergolas are given. So every room, we have removed the grill and every room flows into the garden. And every room again gets a very, very private balcony. It's all in the upper floors. So when they are, this is for the daughter, she was really, asking us when we were, the one son was there and the daughter is there. So she was asking, uncle, why my Anna's room is little bigger than mine? And the dad said, you will get married and you will go away. But then she said, nothing doing. I also want the equal kind of a thing, but I don't want a bigger room, but I would like to have a huge romantic balcony. Whenever I come home with my husband and my children, I need to have this garden. So this is an extension of our room. So we find many of the natural elements can be made as part of the home. So now most of our projects do have this element, like raised house, because in the urban areas, the roads are getting raised continuously. So why not we raise it so that the house stands for next 40 years? So when we do that, the cars are at the lower level in the side somewhere, but you climb a series of staircases, which will have a water on both sides or greenery on both sides, the right picture shows. And similarly, bringing back the courtyards in a different form also makes the spaces lively. This is again on the left side. The right is for Philip Varghese, is from Kerala, settled in Chennai. And Mrs. Varghese, Geeta Varghese, she told, I'm alone here. I'm generally scared when my husband goes to his own factory. So why not you lift the whole house? The whole house is lifted. And she wanted to have the feel of being in Kerala, like in the garden. So every space will have garden feel. So again, some of the other houses where we have water as the welcoming element, where some of the bedrooms are fully covered with greenery all around, removing the grills. So bedrooms becomes part of like a natural setting. So some of the areas where the houses are raised, we invite the neighbors for evening. Children can come and play in the car area. The grannies and the moms can chat. So the entry step itself becomes like a chat spaces. Yeah. Again, we feel the children who are playing the street and picture on the right has a thin eye, the traditional element. where they can play in front of the house, hang out. So mom knows their son is around, and she also gets to know the friends. So every house of us will have this wide seaters in the front, so that the youth can hang out there. And some of the houses, smaller houses, where we use glass as a important element. So it connects the ground floor and the first floor. The children above can get to see the parents or grandparents who are using the living rooms. So the parents also, grandparents also know the young people. They are, what they are up to, and there is a connect. So continuously, every minute, you are not, moving away from the eyesight. The younger generation also can become part of the house, knowing everything about the house. And the left side is another space wherein there is a pool below. And we felt the mom was very afraid, very much afraid something will happen for the children who are swimming in the pool. So we said, why do you want to get afraid? We will create a glass floor above. So from the glass floor, you can look into them, and the glass floor can be used as a dining. The boy sitting on the floor is the glass floor of the dining projects. So this is for a school, and this is a large campus. Again, we made it as a green campus, series of buildings where we also have the children's, the primary school in the front, and the higher secondary on the left side. It's fairly about 8-acre campus. And this is the primary school, nursery and primary. So where a series of, again, green courtyards around which the classes evolve. And you can see the nursery coloring and the courtyard also. The scale is brought down to accommodate the children scale. So the colors are also very vibrant, and the openings are also not like conventional one, where the children can really have the dream-like ambience. This is for the secondary area, where a lot of plazas were created. So students want to hang out before any class. So for them to conveniently hang out, some with some privacy, some screen walls are also provided, so that they escape from the peeping eyes of the faculty. So yeah, this is another block in the same campus. We use the curvilinear forms. And yeah, we didn't feel like making straight line corridor. So most of the corridor are in the curvy fashion. The spaces are also curvy, in order to give them a feel that they are not in a rigid ambience. Again, some other pictures, a lot of pergolas to cut down the sun. Chennai is very hot. This is another highway restaurant which we did, and um, generally highways restaurants are like a dabbas, boxes. So where a restaurant eating place will be there and a small toilet next to that. That's a standard typology. But then when this client came to us, we said we will break the conventional way of building. For a person who is traveling from Kerala to Chennai or from Andhra to Chennai, so when they are traveling for say 8 to 10 hours, 12 hours, so they get really, really bored. So to undo that boredom, why not we create a structure which is really inspiring, which also gives them a feel that they can relax here for at least half an hour or 1 hour, take the journey. Many times when people travel, there will be at least one granny or some elderly person will be there. They cannot sit in the car for 8 hours, 10 hours like that. So they need some breaks. So what we did was, we wanted to learn from the traditional weekend markets. In Tamil, we call it Sandai. I don't know what you call it in Kerala. So in weekends are one of the week in the week. All the people in the village, they go to one market where the merchants put up the little shops only for the day. And then after end of the day, the shops will vanish. So in Tamil Nadu, we have this culture, but these are there for nearly so many hundreds of years. And they are not fading away like the markets and the malls or markets and stuff like that, which are done in today's context. So what we learned is in this traditional markets, there is not when you go to in modern day shopping area, there will be there is a dress shop, there will be 5 or 6 dress shops around it. And then if you go to next cluster, it may be something else. The next cluster will be something else. But in the traditional Shandy, what they have done is, if there is an iron merchant there, next to whom will be a coconut guy, and next to whom maybe a greens person or a vegetable person. So each cluster will have variety of players, sellers, vendors. So if one person, somebody is not buying the iron guy, iron merchant, they may buy something from the vegetable. So the cluster is always alive. So when somebody walks in, they may need assorted items. So these diversified clusters do give us a scope to be making the center alive and vibrant. So we thought, why not we take that concept and have assorted kind of activity. The picture shows assorted farms. So we thought we will have one is for a restaurant, one is for a ice cream parlor, one is for a sweet shop, one element for a petty kadai or small shop. So like that, somebody wants to buy a smoke or one ATM. So bring the clusters, components together, make a cluster. And then people who travel on the highway, they travel at a great speed, 100 to 120 kilometer speed, 80 to 120 kilometer speed. So the structure should capture their attention. So in order to do that, what we did is, we went for a polygonal shapes. So each will be like when the car is turning, one person may be looking at one block, the other side, somebody else is coming, he may see the other one. So likewise, so there is a diversified viewpoints. And then, but then even then, we were not happy. So the client was saying he wants to clean the restaurants every day, the shops every day with a lot of water. And when we were having discussion with the plumbing consultant, he said you need a pressure pump to give the water continuously. The client was not in favor. He is a small time, small restaurant owner who was having about 500 square feet earlier. He said, sir, I cannot afford to pay for the electricity bills. Whatever you are doing, it should be manual kind of thing in a natural gravity process. I don't want to pay for current bills. So we said, why not we elevate the water tank? So that became the tower, what you see in the right side, So then this tower is seen from very far away place also, even for up to 7 kilometers, people say they are able to see, and lights are there. So this gives us good indication. This extremity clearly shows. The center is a plaza. All around it, you have this diversified activities. Yeah, this is the plan. We wanted to try it out in a decon fashion. And each box is like seeking the attention of the passerby. So the tower, you can see it on the left side. We used exposed concrete, left it as it is. Yeah, the entries are a prominent feature here. This is the night view. And now our mission was to bring all diversified people. It was not for rich people. Many times, many of the fancy places always for rich people. We felt a bike traveler with his girlfriend also should be able to come, have a tea, or get some money in the ATM, so that the center, like the traditional Shandy markets, so this is also alive all the time. So now if you look at the picture of users, they're all very different people. On the right, you have a foreigner sitting there. On the left extreme top, school boys, college boys riding with their motorcycles. They are coming and having their food. On the bottom, you have children playing. So that was the other project. Now this is the final project that I'm going to show today. So this is for Udavum Karangal. There is a charity organization called Udavum Karangal, wherein people who are nobody, people who are not cared for, people who you see in the bus stand and railway station, like mentally deranged people, and some pregnant lady, mad looking woman. I mean, she may be abused by people. This organization aims at catering them a new life. And left top is Papa Vidyagar. He takes care of them. He himself is a nobody. So somebody helped him in his earlier career, earlier life. So he wanted to pay back that, and by creating these centers. So he asked, we are not having a hospital. Why not you design a hospital? I have done nearly 26 hospitals earlier in my earlier commercial spell. And I was not doing hospitals in the recent last 15, 20 years. I said, this is become like an industry where they're, just a group of boxes for offering service, but at the same time, it's like a five-star hotel. It has become like five-star hotel. So my interest was not there. But then when this came to me, I said, this is a nice chance for me to help the poor people have a better medical facility, because our survey says, the Vidyakar also, sir also said, many poor people, they are scared to come to hospital. So as a result, when the cancer in the advanced stage, only when they are about to die, they come to hospitals. So they are not able to do anything, even most of the tuberculosis, everything. So there is no testing for the poor people. They are afraid. Everything is like a five-star hotel. Any hospital is like a five-star hotel. They know they are going to pay a huge sum of money. So here we thought this structure should help them to come very comfortably. So it should be catering to Muniamma or Kuppamma or some poor people when they come. They should be able to easily connect with this structure and have the interest to go in and seek further medicinal support. So we identified some topics like identifying the building. When they are walking in the street itself, it should be like a caring one. So they should feel, okay, they can go inside. And number two is when they approach, it should be like a humane kind of a thing. And third is also imagery. When you see it, it should appeal to them as a good hospital. And the fourth one is a welcome pavilion, where, like many a times, the middle income or lower middle income, the boy will be working in a factory. The son or grandson will be working in the factory or in the office. He will say, Grandma, I will take you to the hospital. But the poor guy every day has to go to work, and he may not be able to do that. So as a result, the old lady is neglected, not really cared for, not in the real sense of not neglecting, but due to the working pattern, he's not offering good service to her. So now here what we have done is, there is a welcome pavilion where the old lady can come and be seated here. It's not a hospital, it's just like a private park. And the grandson can come directly from the workplace, come to this hospital, park the vehicle, go to the welcome pavilion and take the grandma. So till the time the grandma, with the support of some young girl or somebody, can come here, or the wife who is pregnant can come with the neighbor, stay in the welcome pavilion, and the son can come, the husband can come and take them inside. So likewise, we understood the psychology of the poor people and worked out. I'm not going to go too deep into that. The site is a low-lying area next to a canal, so we have to raise it. We raised it considerably. And the plan farmers, we said every hospital is so rigid, it's threatening. Why not we have a hospital which is very free-flowing, curvy? Even schools of architecture, they say hospital need to be functional. It is 90-degree kind of a thing. Whereas I've done 26 hospitals, I realized there's nothing like that. So earlier times, the hospitals were built by engineers, and the engineers were guided by the doctors. He does not know anything about architecture. So he guided simple boxes. That has become like a prototype or a typology for hospitals. In this case, we wanted to move away. So created series of courtyards. And the minute somebody enters, each of the curvilinear paths takes them to one particular department, which will have a courtyard. Each courtyard will have a color scheme. The poor people have their understanding of spaces is very restricted. So they may understand yellow coat, they will know, they may be able to recollect. But if you say it's a radiology coat, or let us say pharmacy coat, or a OPD coat, they will not understand. So each coat will have a color theme. And this is the building. So the building also, we wanted to look little rusty, and the curvy form demanded RC walls. So RC, we left it natural as it is. So these are some of the inner spaces. So it is not a busy kind of a thing. Nobody is allowed to come in the car. The car will go to the parking. and people who are sick, they will be taken to emergency. So there the car can go. And this is the welcome pavilion area we are talking about. So as a left side on top, you see this pergola court. So any poor middle can come, sit there, hang out there till the son or father or somebody comes and takes them inside. Once you go, you are welcomed by this central court. The reception is in front of you, so it's not threatening you. Around the courtyard is all the facilities. And the court also used for multifunctional activities. Some camps can be conducted, and the hospital can have some functions and get together like that. Yeah. So these are different things. And in the cross section, you can see the ventilation, hot air escaping. So it's like a very low slung, normal, non-threatening hospital. Color everywhere is used. You can look at the floor pattern, creating pattern. When people come there, they know they are in this particular area. A lot of color paintings were also there to humanize the ambience. Now, recently it was in news, somebody who got lost from Orissa is identified. Yeah. Yeah. So this is the end of it. Yeah. Thank you. So, Professor, I'm ready to take the questions, any questions that we have.
Very wonderful presentation, sir. Very nice projects.
Thank you,
what I feel, sir, is that you have three fundamentals embedded in you. Is that you have creativity, you have passion, and you definitely have a vision. I guess if an architect has all these three coming together, there is creativity, passion, and vision, then definitely there is no bounds where you can excel. So I am really humbled by your works today, and it's indeed my pleasure to have host you again on such a short note.
Yes,
and obviously, I'll open up the forum to the students so they can ask some queries.
Yes, anything, kindly feel free to ask. Let it not be a formal one. Any doubts about your career? I remember I went to one of the schools near Tiruchi. It's a very startup school, a new one. And the professor was saying the students will not ask questions. They are a little shy. I said, nothing doing. They can speak in any language they want. In Malayalam, they can speak. Tamil also, they can, any language. You won't believe the question answer went for such a long time. So this is for sharing. So you can ask in Malayalam. I can understand a bit of Malayalam, so I can answer. I may answer in English, but you can ask any language that you like. Yeah.
Hello, sir.
Hello.
Hello, my name is Mohammed Shafa.
Hi.
Hi, sir. First of all, thank you for this session. Your projects and the presentation both were really interesting and legible.
Thank you.
Now, my question is, before the session, I actually went through your website, and there was one project at E-Road, one crematorium, that actually fascinated me, because usually when we think of crematorium, we get a somber feeling. So, but here it was a very beautiful project. So I would like to know the philosophy behind that positivity you had.
Okay, I'll tell you. A very interesting question. Thank you. Thanks for going through the web page. This project came to me. There was 4 or 5 native place people. That's called E-Road. That's where people came. They were all in dhoti and very simple people. They came to me and said, "Sir, we want you to design the crematorium, because generally crematorium is along the riverside. Like the traditional one will be like you burn the body, and there is a vettiyam. So he burns the body, and there is a small little structures along the river. So this is also similar to that. The government has given them a funding of 50 lakhs. So I asked them, you want to do this 50 lakh one, then it will become like only that electric machine will be there and one simple hall will be there. But then we will move away from the traditional way of parting. Generally, we always carry the body in our 4 people will lift the body, and then there is a procession, and all that will go away. So all the tradition will go away. And they said, no, sir, we would like to continue the tradition. We don't want this, just the ambulance there and dropping the body into the machine and then burning and pushing off. Why not we look at the traditional way also combined with the modern one? So then this 50 lakhs was not sufficient. I made a dream one and I showed it to them. They really liked it. And they said, where will we get the money? They said to go to the people, ask the people. After 4 months, they came back and they said, sir, we have failed miserably. No money is coming. We have only the government money of 50 lakhs. I asked them, who all did you go? Sir, we went to the biggest industrial houses in Erode and nobody paid a penny. I said, why did you go to the rich people? Go to each street, carry a banner like a beggar. You go every house and ask. And you won't believe, after 4 months they came, they brought 3.2 crore money. And we built this crematorium. Here, generally crematorium ladies are not allowed. Only men folks will go and many of them will be, drunkard kind of a thing. Whereas here we felt the son or daughter who had lost a father, mother, brother, they should have a chance to go and send the soul. And similarly, now there's another urban phenomena which is happening is many of us are beginning to live in a small flat, in a 200 square feet flat and something like that. Anybody who dies of cancer, their body is not allowed to bring back to the flat. They put it in the street, below the flat itself, in the Shamiana they allow, but they are not allowed to come. And even slum people, there's no way they can take it to the slum. So I read somewhere, these people require some facility wherein the body can be kept properly and proper homage can be done. So what we did is, there's a welcome pavilion where the whole body is kept. So any poor person can bring the body directly from the hospital and keep it in a very dignified fashion. So any relatives who want to pay homage, they can come and pay homage there. And after that, from that entry area, they will take the body in a procession, go to the meditation area, where they will keep the body and do the ceremonies. And after that, there's a burning chamber. So now what is happening in all the cities, I'm sure in Kerala also they do the same. They keep the body in the burning chamber, and after that, all the relatives are chased away. You go. There is no point in staying here. It will take 1 hour, and all the relatives fade away. But then the people who lost a father or a brother or a sister, the entire family is all alone. Nobody is there to console them. So I felt there has to be a meditation area in front of the burning chamber, so where all the relatives can stay with the grieving family and then console them. So that became, kind of where some bhajan can go on, some light music will be there, like a veena will be playing, some soothing thing will be there. Till the time the body is burning for 1 hour, at least there will be people. Lucky we had this river next to that. After that, the boy or girl can go take that shower there, get that urn from them, from the body burnt, and immerse it. So there itself they can finish up the ceremony also. So yes, simple thing. I didn't take a penny for that. I said I will do it free. So we did that. That's a very pyramid kind of an architecture we adopted to symbolize this. The theory, philosophy behind that is, it should when there has to be everybody coming together and sharing the grief. That is the philosophy. In order to make everybody come together, there has to be a clean place. This should also have provision for the ladies to come. Now the crematorium in Erode has got 50% women coming. So every family member comes together to support the grieving family and be with them for at least 2 to 3 hours. So that was the concept, and everything was gray to bring out the sorrow from them. So gray gives you that feel of neutral feel. So the grief in you comes out in a form of crying or shouting. All that can happen. It was not colorful, but soothing greenery was all around. For the person to move on from the life, there's a greenery and water is all around the crematorium. So a natural ambience were created. Yeah, thank you. This is the idea behind.
Thank you, sir. Your positivity very much inspired me. And Actually, it also reminded me of Pyramid of Giza. So
Yeah.
that was a really interesting project. Thank you,
Yes.
sir.
Yes. Thank you. Thank you. I'm happy that you are able to go through. Yeah. Thank you.
Hello,
Yeah,
sir.
sir, that was interesting.
Yeah.
Hello, sir.
Yeah. Yeah, ma. Yeah.
Yeah, sir, I'm Sharika. I have a question for you regarding profession.
Yeah. Okay.
What would be your advice for young practitioners who are in the beginning of their professional life?
Okay. Yeah. Very interesting one, ma. See, I came back. I changed nearly 11 companies, 11 architectural practice. Will be there for 1.5 months. Somehow I felt they are too commercial. Then move on. Then one point of time I felt there is no office which is good for me. I became a watchman in a colony, residential colony. I became a watchman. Uh, and then I was thinking, why I'm not able to do. In the sense, there was not a practice where involved design thinking was not done. If you look at Doshi Sar or let us say Stein or Christopher Benninger, all these practices are very intense. But earlier in Chennai, there was not such practice. And after doing that for 2 years, then I became a faculty. I said I will never practice. I became a faculty. I was working as a faculty. Then the urge to design was there. Then I said, okay, if I want to practice, how can I practice? And I don't have office. I have only the office cabin in the School of Architecture. Then I said, I will not charge anything. I will not charge for some time. So a lot of projects came because there was no charge, free. But then I had a deal with a prospective client. Said I will not charge you, but whatever design I am doing, you should allow me to explore. That satisfaction I should have. So they allowed. They said you do whatever you want. There is no charge also. So they are also happy. I am also happy. So I did that. But during that was next 5 years. The 7 years, I realized I made a lot of mistakes. Then looked at the great architects who had a thriving practice. Now I started looking at Doshi Sir. Doshi Sir studied JJ. After that, he took a ship to England, 3 months to England, and met Lee Corbusier and worked in the studio for 5 years. And first 4 months, Corbusier is a tight fellow, no? He doesn't have much money also, poor guy. So he said, I will not pay you salary. So Doshi said, fine. He used to buy bread and dip it in water, and that was his food for 4 months. And after that, Lee Corbusier pity on him and then gave him some money. And after 4.5 years, he worked. And when Chandigarh came, Corbusier said, why not you come with me to Chandigarh? So he comes to Chandigarh for 2 years, working as a site supervisor, site architect, site engineer, using a cycle. And after 7 years working with Corbusier, he goes to Ahmedabad. There he starts a practice. That to 10 to 12 kilometers away from Ahmedabad, and he will go in cycle. And that will be that Sangat that you are seeing now. No, it used to be like a asbestos sheet curve. A metal curved roof was the shed. That was his starting place. Even when he was doing that, he got two good projects: Sarabhai House, Vikram Sarabhai House, and another one. So both the houses, he said, I'm not the right person. Why not we call Corbusier, who is already working in India? So he gave the two projects to Corbusier. So when after 7 years also, he was not keen to practice. So Corbusier taught him how to do a design house. So then he learns and then practices. If you look at Korea, again 2-3 years with Bucky Feller. So like everybody is now, if you look at Ashok Lal works with Stein Doshi Balla for 5 years. So Mohe 19 years with the CNT. So after that only he starts his mind space now. So this long working experience with a good architect is the most important thing. I realized that. So you need to at least 3 to 5 years you work with some office where you will start with the scheme and do the complete project like that. At least one small project like a residence, one large institute like a college or a school or something, then you are thorough. You know how to handle a contractor, you know how to tell a client, what to tell a client, how to claim a bill, how to send your advance money. So everything you can learn. After that you start. There is no hurry. You have a long life, 55, 60 years practice you will have. So this investing 3 to 5 years working with a good architecture company is the best way to start. Many of the youngsters today, they are starting immediately after graduation. They will be a burnt out. They will not know all the procedures and practical knowledge. So gain that. School is a good place to dream, but offices are the place where you learn how to build. So you put 5 years, same 5 years you should put in the offices. Then you start, you will be a very, very successful practitioner. Yeah, you can also ask any other questions, ma. Same, Sarika, you can ask more questions.
Thank you, sir. It was really motivating, and I'm sure that it will really help many growing architects that is present here today.
Oh, very nice, ma. Yeah, I wish them all the best, very best. And choose an architect which you love. Go work with that person for at least 2 to 3 years. Don't care about the money. See, every offices cannot offer very high pay, but they will always share knowledge with you. If you hang out with them, they will treat you like a son or a friend, and then share everything, because there is no competition. So there's so much of work everywhere. So it's better that you work in a place that you love, work with an architect whose work you admire, and always go and tell them, I want to work. Don't talk about salary. So then they will take you in. Anyway, they will pay salary. They are not inhuman people. So they will pay, but initially they will not be able to pay whatever people ask or think. But then eventually they will realize your potential. You will be also able to contribute. So select an architect. It can be somebody in Jeffrey Baba. Earlier people used to go to Jeffrey Baba. Now Palinda is there. You can go to Palinda. You can go any place. You can go to Delhi and work in some place also. But hang out with that company for at least 3 years, minimum 3 years. Only then you will know everything about it. Yeah.
Does anybody else have any questions?
Good morning, sir. I'm Ashna, and I'm so glad that you have kept equality even in architecture.
Yeah.
And my question is that, like over the past years, technology has evolved huge, and how the technology has influenced your projects. And
Good. Nice. See, the past is there, as the past is also a reflection of technology. Any activity done in the past, any column, Chettinadu pillar column or Kerala Nalugattu pillar is also a technological expression. That was the expression of that day's technology about structure. But today's there is an expression of structure. But there will be technological innovations happening in material, structure, everything. So we also have to continuously seek what is new. We have to keep upgrading. Only thing, when the technology comes, it will be like like an animal. You have to tame it. It will be offering hundreds of potential, but you have to control it and make an art out of it. Like the way the traditional pillars are. The pillar is needed to support, but then they celebrated the pillar. There is a base, there is a body, there is a capital. So there is a beautiful celebration of technology. Now here also, any technology, now glass is a material. People say bad things about it, but it is a needed material. Now we are sitting in an air-conditioned space, you need glass. But you don't have to sit all the time in air-conditioned spaces. So the glass is an essential material. But then sun falling on the glass is not the right way. So you need to work out how sun can be controlled. So there can be a overhang, there can be a pergola or anything like that. But today, right now, just before we started the session, Professor was talking me about the memorial that I'm doing for Jayalalitha Madam. So there we have used 75 feet of cantilever to span a structure. So our architecture should represent time. So representing time is representing technology, representing material. So any sensible architect should explore the newer materials which are available, but don't have to be like the steel or something like the steel material which is coming, which is used in abroad for their conditions. But whatever is relevant, to cite this, I tell you one small example. Kalam sir, one day Vikram Sarabhai called Kalam sir to come to Ahmedabad, Mumbai, and this man goes and he says our rocket missions are failing. So Kalam works the entire night. He comes out with this, what is the latest material and strongest material which rockets are made? I forgot. Okay, there is one material.
Titanium.
Titanium. Very good, sir. Very good. Thank you, Professor. So the titanium, Kalam sir is the first person to introduce titanium in our space programs. So after that, there is no failure. But this man, when he is traveling back from Mumbai to his Trivandrum, there was a marriage. His sister was living in Trivandrum. So, what he was thinking, this light material is used for space, but the same material is it used for poor people. Then he thinks the people with one leg is not there. No, earlier they will have a heavy wooden leg. The handicapped children, they will have one wooden leg. That was so heavy, they have to drag the leg, they can't walk properly. So he brings this technology, titanium technology, and makes legs for the poor handicapped people. So the technology has got two sides. So every project of you continuously think how technology can be used. Now we use Nalugattu courtyards, but the same courtyard, it requires safety in the night. So now I'm using automatic closer. It's called smart roof. So it will open up in the day. So the air can come, rain can come. When you want it, it will interlock. So it's about 5 lakh rupee. So it's a technology. So everywhere I use glass floors to connect children spaces and elders floors. So I use parametric kind of enclosures also. So all that is possible. Technology is a welcome one, but we have to do it in the right way. But then for that, you have to have interactions with various people, vendors, and like-minded architects. You come up with a proper way to use it in the right sense. Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir. That was a clear answer.
Okay, thank you.
I guess we have already taken a lot of time of Murali sir.
Okay, thank you.
Actually, I had called sir for 1 hour, give me 45 minutes, and sir has given more than 1.5 hours. Before I like to conclude, I also like to remind something that I heard and listened from Murali sir, because last time when we met, or before that, I guess during a session, he was saying that in his life, every purr has a value. Okay, so that is something that has gone into my mind so much. So thank you for all the insights, sir, and thank you for the session also. Thank you, sir.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Bye. Wish you all the best, students. Thank you. Bye.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.